Hey guys, Josh here with Josh and Hunter's Adventures, and welcome back to another episode of tackle making. Today's video, we're going to be making the Do It mold football jig. If you like to throw football jigs, this is a great mold for you. We're going to be taking a look at this and pouring some in 1/2 ounce today and taking you through the whole process till you get to the finished product. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mold and let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the mold here. It is made by Do It. It is the football jig model number FBB4H8FM. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, open it up here, and we'll show you the sizes that you get. So it goes all the way down to an 1/8 ounce, and it will take a 1/0 hook. You got a 1/4 ounce with a 2/0, a 3/8 with a 3/0, and a 1/2 ounce with a 4/0, which we will be pouring today. If you've never poured a football jig like this, I'm going to show you the things that you're going to need. So the first thing that you're going to need is your base hole pin, which I've got a pack of these right here. We'll go right here, and basically what that is, and you'll see in the video as we start pouring, it makes the hole for your weed guard so that you're able to glue in your weed guard afterwards. And weed guards, I've got a wide selection, anything from green pumpkin to brown to black. And this current model here for the 1/2 ounce will take an FG30 on the weed guard size. The hooks that we're going to be using today for this 1/2 ounce is a Mustad 32-786. We're going to use the 4/0. So like I said, we'll be using it in the 1/2 ounce. So what I like to do is, if you watched any of my previous videos, I'll go ahead and set this mold over on the lead pot, get it warmed up, and we'll get to pouring. Okay, so we got the mold good and hot now. What we're going to do is we're going to pour 3 of the 1/2 ounce. I'll pour 1 and show you guys how to do it, and then the other 2 I will pour off of camera. That way it doesn't take so long on the video. I've got my 4/0 Mustad hook here. We're going to lay it right in the slot right there for that. And then we've got our base hole pin. Like I said in the video, it is for your weed guard hole. So it's got a slot right there for that, and that will make the hole for the weed guard where we'll glue it in later in the video. Now, always make sure that when you close this down, you get a good seal. Okay, you always want to make sure you can hear it really seal down really good, and that way you get a good pour. So let's go over to the lead pot and go ahead and pour this one, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so we're over here at the melting pot now. We're going to go ahead and pour the first one here and stick it under the mold here. Give it a good pour and stop it when it gets level. Now, let's go over to the table and take a look at it. Okay, so we're back over here at the table now. We're going to take a look and see how it did. Take it out of the mold here. That looks really good. You can see we've got our little trailer keeper on there. And I'll show you after I pour the rest of these how to go ahead and remove that sprue. Okay, so we've got all 3 of them poured here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to remove this little extra piece, as you can see here on the jig head itself. What you're going to want to do is, if you've never watched any of my other videos, I just use a pair of just side snips right here, and I go right in there where it's at and pinch it. And then you can just give it a little twist. Real gentle, and it will come right off. Just like that right there. I try to do it as easy as possible. That way it doesn't leave such a jagged edge. That's why you can see right there, I don't know if the camera will zoom in close enough to it. So what I do is I take a little file, and I just file that down right there. Just like that right there. And makes it good and smooth. And you can see here on the other ones, just give it a snip, give it a little twist, and it's off. That's the best way that I've found to do these. And like I said, you just take your file and file it down there. That lead's really soft, so it's not hard to do at all. Get that one filed down. It looks good right there. So what we're going to do is we've got these right here ready to go. Our next step that we're going to do is we're going to powder paint these, and then we're going to put them in our little oven that we have, and we'll bake these usually for around 15 minutes at around 225 degrees. So I think what colors we're going to use today is, I think we'll do a brown, a green pumpkin, and a black and blue. I think that'll be good. I've got a lot of different other colors, but that's simple colors that everybody uses. So let's go ahead and get our paint ready, and we'll get started painting. Okay, so I've got my Protect powder paint here in little small containers I like to keep in there. It's just easier for me to paint the jigs and stuff like that. And you'll want to make sure you leave your base hole pin in there for this. What you're going to need, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, you're going to need a small little propane torch, and that is to heat the lead up to make the powder paint stick to it. I use a small little set of forceps. Let's see here, we will heat this up. It does not take a lot to heat it up. If anything, you can go back over it, so just remember that. You don't want to overheat it. Just get it good and hot. You take it down in your powder paint. I'll give it a little shake here at first. And you just swish it around. And I'll always run it back over it one time, and it just sort of clears it up really good. If you want to, dip it down in there again. Very simple. You can see that's what you get. Looks really good. I'll go ahead and set this over in the oven here for now. We'll get to that here in a minute. So that's our green pumpkin color. Next we'll go ahead and do black and blue. Again, don't overheat the jigs. Maybe about a 6 count is all it is. And just dip it down in there. I always run it back over the heat to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then a lot of times I'll just dip it back in there one more time, and that really brings out the color in these. That looks really good. I know it's probably extremely hard to see right now, but we'll get a close-up shot of these. That way you can see them. Go ahead and put this in the oven. And our last color will be the brown. Again, maybe a 6 count. Just don't overheat it. Makes this powder paint a mess. Run it back over the heat. Make it look really, really good. There it is. I'm not worried about the little piece down here around where the trailer's going. But we will go ahead and bake these for about 15 minutes. Like I said, 225 degrees. And we'll take a look at them after they're done. Basically what that does, if you're not familiar with powder paint, is it keeps it on there stronger. You're dragging it on the rocks and stuff, it'll sort of protect it just a little bit longer. It won't make it chip as bad if you bake it and it cures it. So let's go ahead and get it cut on, and then we'll take a look at it after it's done. Okay, so we've got the jigs out of the oven now. We baked them at 225 degrees for about 15 minutes. Our next step that we're going to do is we need to put our skirts on, and we need to glue in our weed guard. I went ahead and made up a couple of these skirts. I make my own with the different colors. I'll make another video on that, but for today I just went ahead and already made these up. You don't have to do this. You can buy these already pre-made. They make some great colors already available, but I just choose to do it this way. And what we need to do is we need to go ahead and take the base hole pins out, and you just take a pair of pliers there, just pull the pins out. It's not that hard. The powder paint doesn't exactly stick in there really bad. You just give it a little twist and they will come right out. Just like that right there. Now what I like to do is I like to go ahead and put my skirt on first. And if you're not familiar with this and never done this, basically the only thing that you do is you'll take your jig and you just feed the jig right through that collar right there, okay? And you just rig it right up on there. I'll get it kind of straightened up there just a little bit. Hard to do it with this camera angle, but we'll get by. Now, there's that one. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can go ahead and put your weed guard on if you want to, but it just seems like it just gets in the way for me. Next is the green pumpkin one. Like I said, I just made this color up right here. I thought it looked good. Thought I'd give it a shot. Trying to keep it in the camera as much as I possibly can, so you guys can see everything. That one looks really good. I like that color. Now these skirts will have to be trimmed, so we'll do that here in a minute. This is just a crawdad color here. I used all the same colors on this one. So you just take the hook and you go right down through the collar. Just slide it up on there. There we go. That looks good. Now, our next step that we're going to do is we have to take our weed guards, and you don't have to use specific color matching weed guards. I had them available, so I thought we'd go ahead and do that. I like to use Gorilla Glue to glue them in. You can use epoxy if you want. If you have a whole bunch to do at a time, that works out well. This Gorilla Glue just seems to work really, really well, and it's the Super Glue Gel. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the black and blue one first. What I like to do is I'll pull the skirt back. I'll take the super glue. You just fill the hole up right there. Just add a little down in the hole. Bear with me here on the camera angle here. I'm trying to work over top of it. And you will take the weed guard. You will push it right down in there. If I can get it to work with me here. There we go. There, it slid down in there now. Now you'll get it on your hands, but that's okay. You can wash it off. Just make sure you push it down in there really good. So there's the black and blue. Go ahead and do the green pumpkin one. And slide this down so you guys can see it a little bit better. Might be better for the camera angle. Put you a little drop down in there. There we go. You'll take your green pumpkin. Push it all the way down in there. Till it goes all the way down. Now, just slide your skirt back up. Now, for the brown one, we'll go ahead and slide it down too. Should have done that for the black, I guess, but that way you guys can see it. Here we go. Now, there we go. Now you'll take your brown, push it right into the hole, and it's good and glued. Very simple. Very, very simple and very easy to make. Like I said, you know, with football jigs, you lose a lot of them, dragging them around on the rocks and everything. So it's always a good idea to try to save some money and make your own. All right, so you've seen the little clip there of the finished product of the jigs there. They turned out really well. I like the colors. These are not hard to make. All you have to do is just get the components, and you can make a lot of them for a very, very cheap amount compared to what they are in stores. Some of these are $4 and $5 a piece. It'll save you a lot of money, and it's fun to make. It's always nice to come up with a color and then you go out and catch a fish on it. It's rewarding to be able to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you make these, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, go down and leave me a thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is Josh with Josh and Hunter's Adventures.